Do you remember your high school art class? We sat on these tall stools in front of easels, with classical music softly playing in the background. The smell of graphite from the pencils we had sharpened to fine points permeated the room. I loved that class. I could sit there for hours, solely concentrating on the exact spot in the apple I was drawing where that shadow faded away and the next one came in. I loved the feeling of self-satisfaction when I finished that drawing. I had created something that didn't exist before. Do you know that feeling? Maybe you don't know it from a drawing or a painting, and maybe you don't feel you're all that creative in the way you decorate your house or dress or prepare a meal. But I'm willing to bet everyone in this room is able to create a product or a process. Maybe a 5S manufacturing process, a flowchart improvement diagram, or even a meeting agenda that, when implemented, went off without a hitch, and you walked away with absolutely no action items. You can create something. And when you've delved into the thing that you're passionate about, either personally or professionally, and can step back and take in the whole of it and say, I made that. That's just the best feeling in the world. Who's felt that? Excellent. When's the last time you felt it? Maybe some of you are willing to try for the first time? Today I want to give you a 5-step process to getting to that feeling. We'll call it the 5 F's of altering the universe. And they are find, feel, flush, float, and focus. Find a problem to solve or an opportunity to embrace. Feel around for a solution to that problem. Flush out your idea, float your idea, and focus on the stakeholders, the people who need to approve the idea. Find, feel, flush, float, and focus. You got it? Let's talk about one at a time, those steps. Pretty easy to remember. They're all F's, relatively in alphabetical order. The first one, find a problem to solve. I know what some of you might be thinking. Marianne, I'm so busy at home. I am so busy at work. The last thing I need is something else on my to-do list. That is precisely why I would suggest you look for a problem to solve in the context of your day-to-day. Think about what absorbs your time. Maybe there's some improvement the whole department could benefit from. What's on your manager's agenda? Plenty of places to look for problems to solve. I actually stumbled upon one years ago when I was heading up the marketing communications group at Life Sciences. I asked my admin, Kristen, who was a shared resource, to help me launch a new product. And when I did, I saw her little body convulse and her right eye twitched. She pretended to buckle under the weight of the assignment. She was that kidder, that one. She said, Marianne, I am so snowed under. I do not know where I will find the time to add that in. Anyone ever heard that before? Not enough time in the day? Pretty common refrain. As it turns out, Kristen was spending about 60% of her time re-entering data that somebody else had already keyed. The 85 sales reps in North America would send her orders for free goods their customers had earned by buying a certain volume of product, and she would key it into our data entry system. So not exactly following the write it once, use it many times mantra that constitute best practices. But I was soon to find out that wasn't even the problem. The bigger problem was that as those orders piled up on her desk, customer satisfaction and subsequent orders were being compromised. So that's how I stumbled onto my problem. You should look for a problem to solve within the context of resource constraints. Pretty fertile ground to find a problem to solve. So once you've found that problem, now you need to feel around for a solution. This is where your creative juices really come into play. You need to boil that problem down to root cause and brainstorm ways to attack the problem. Ask around the office, does anybody else perceive this as a problem? If so, what have they tried to fix it? What were the shortcomings? What happened? If you're lucky, you'll get a jolt of inspiration. I got a jolt of inspiration with my Kristen problem, flying back from a business trip on the West Coast, sitting in the plane thinking, it would be so great if the salespeople could just key directly into our ERP system. Then Kristen would be bypassed altogether. Anybody in the audience work with ERP systems or PeopleSoft? So you know that's ludicrous. You can't let 85 people into that database, because one wrong keystroke and they can mess things up 6 ways to Sunday. So what else? What else? We just really need like a little website, something like Amazon.com where they can key their orders in. And then it hit me. We do have a website like that. Customers already order products online, so why not our sales reps? If it had been any more obvious, it would have jumped up and hit me sooner. So if you're lucky, you'll have a jolt of inspiration also. If not, just keep poking around, leave all the ideas on the table. It's brainstorming. Everything is fair game. So then you've got to kind of pick your best idea and move on to the third step. So what you want to do in the third step is flush out your idea. You want to share your idea with somebody you can trust to kick things around with. Maybe an office mate or somebody you go to lunch with. But be forewarned, before you do this, you need to identify how your idea will help the organization win. Will it increase revenue, profits, the company's image, the culture? You need to identify this, because if you don't, your idea might be perceived as a pet project and fall fairly low on the priority list of those people whose help you need to implement it. So identify how the organization will win. Then, once you've done that, now comes time to float your ideas out. You want to float it out to a number of people, more likely the people who will be impacted by it. So when the final pitch comes, they'll know about it and will be generally supportive of it. And you want to float the idea out in such a way that the person will come to the same conclusion that you did. So you want to drop hints. In my problem with Kristen, I was in the lunchroom one day, chit-chatting with the IT manager who owned the website. We were talking about customer satisfaction and dissatisfaction in general, and I told her it would be so great if the sales reps could just key into our website. Well, why can't they, she said. Well, all the customers aren't in that website, and they each have their own specialized price list, and it's kind of customized to them. She thought, what if we create a house account and set all the prices to 0? Would that work? Yeah, that would probably work. And the sales reps would then go to the website, and they might do it right in front of the customers, and they'll see the process, and then the customers might start to go and order online. So in this process, she's now vested in the outcome. There's something in it for her in this particular case. More people will go to her website, more revenue-producing people. So now we found a problem. We felt around for a solution, fleshed out our idea, floated an idea, and now we need to focus on the stakeholders, the people who need to approve the idea. Who are they? What is important to them? How can you map your idea to their agenda? Even if you don't personally know your stakeholders, that's when you got to start sleuthing around the office. You can ask for a smart interview, or ask for a smart interview of one of their direct reports, so you can get a sense of what the department has on their MBOs for the year. What are they concentrating on? You can go to the intranet, read about their job description, and if all that fails, you can just go to the intranet and read about that job role on the intranet to get some sense, because you can derive universal truths from these job descriptions. One of my stakeholders was the sales manager, so he had to agree to allow the sales reps to key into the website instead of typing into email, which is second nature to them. So here's what I know about my sales manager. 1, he's super competitive, a universal truth about salespeople. 2, he's got a number to make. Making that number is very important to him. Another universal truth about salespeople. And 3rd, he had been on the warpath about the amount of time his sales reps spend in front of their computers instead of being out there face-to-face with customers selling. So if I knew I asked if to change the behavior to key into this website, he really wouldn't be all that supportive. So how can I map my idea to his agenda? The pitch to him goes something like this. Hey, Fred, I've been talking to some of your sales reps, and we think we found a way to relieve their administrative burden by keying directly into the website instead of emailing to Kristen. In this fashion, the customers will get the free goods in 3 to 5 days instead of the 4 to 6 weeks it's taking now. Even our competitors can't do it that fast. On top of that, the sales reps won't have to stop what they're doing to field a call from the sales rep, their customer rather, call Kristen, find out where the order is in that pile, have her rifle through the pile, find the order, process it, call the customer back. All that busy work goes away. True, the sales reps are going to have to key into the website instead of email. Well, I gotta believe that's a short learning curve. Everybody knows how to order things on sites like Amazon.com. So here, I have solved his problem, not freed up my admin. Can you see yourself doing this? You gotta, in your pitch, you have to acknowledge the shortcomings and offer a mitigation plan, right? So that will prove to the person, you've thought this through, this is not a jolt of inspiration, and that gains you credibility. It also gives you the self-satisfaction of creating something that wasn't there before. Can you see yourself doing this? Are you engaged enough in your day-to-day to identify a problem, take the bull by the horns and fix it? Do you have the creative capacity to feel around for a solution based on your experience to date, things you've learned, people you've talked to? Can you imagine yourself flushing your idea out, your crazy idea that just might work, with a few close confidants? Are you self-assured enough to float the idea out to a broader spectrum of people, take their feedback, incorporate it, and have them embrace it? And are you thorough enough to focus on your stakeholders, understand what's important to them, map your idea to their agenda, and sell it to them? Of course you are. You are all these things. You're here today, aren't you? Get out there and lead us. Get out there and alter the universe. Go get 'em.